Welcome to Ciao Bella, hosted by me, Erica Firpo, a travel journalist based in Rome. Each episode of Ciao Bella, I sit down with Italy's creators, contemporary artists and artisans, designers, culinary experts, heritage brands, and innovative aesthetes, and more who are defining and redefining 21st century Italy. Pull up a chair and join in. In this episode of Ciao Bella, I'm in heaven. And for me, that means I'm in the midst of art, food, and wine all at once. In Piemonte, of course. Let's localize it. I'm in Alba La Piola, the restaurant of the great wine family Ceretto. And I'm here with Roberta. In this episode of Ciao Bella, I'm in heaven. And for me, that means I'm surrounded by contemporary art with great food and wine. And guess where I am? Piemonte. Localize it, Alba, at the great wine family Ceretto's restaurant La Piola to talk about Salduit, Bagna Cauda, the Langhe, and more. Let's jump right in with Roberta Ceretto, Head of Communications and Marketing for Ceretto Estate, where we chat about the overlap of art, wine, and food.
You know, I mentioned I'm in La Piola, which is a restaurant in Alba in Piemonte, but we're in an incredible region called the Langhe, or Le Langhe. It is a region where I think, you know, people come here and they know about these wines, Barolo, Dolcetto di Alba. They know about the truffle. So the white truffle, the white star of Alba, the white diamond of Alba is from here. And, you know, if you don't know those two, you for sure know about Nutella and hazelnuts because, so it's kind of funny if you think about it, like all the good things come from here, like literally this tiny area. But what a lot of people don't know is that there is incredible contemporary art. And 21 years ago, Roberta created an incredible project. So I want you to tell everybody about it and how it came about.
Well, it happened by chance. At that time, it was not me. I was in the middle of a kind of crisis. I didn't know what to do in my life. So at that time, it was in reality my father. Who met David Tremlett, or better, he was asked to host David Tremlett that was organizing an exhibition in the castle of Barolo. I was finishing...
Just to let everybody know, David Tremlett is an artist is a British-born artist,
yes,
correct?
Yes. David Tremlett is the artist that together with Sol Hewitt made that unbelievable piece of art that now everybody calls Cappella del Barolo because it is located in one of the greatest single vineyard of Barolo, that is Brunate in La Morra. So it was probably easier for the Italians to remember the name Barolo than Sol Hewitt and David Tremlett. That was, I suppose. However, in '96, it happened that we met David and we hosted it for 1 month. The Langhe were not the Langhe that probably you know now. They were not so organized, they were not so appealing, there were not so many restaurants, hotels. They were an unbelievable place for ingredients, for wines, for food, but we were starting to learn a new job, that is the welcome, the incoming. So at that time we became very good friends with David, and after 1 month he felt he wanted to give something to us. And I don't know if it was my father or if it was David who offered to or suggested to do something around that little chapel. That for us has always been the place where we park the tractors. We own 5 hectares in the Brunate vineyard, and there was this little tiny broken construction, and it was just the shape, the right shape for a tractor. And we renew it, and David wanted to involve a friend So he called Solute, and in the year 99 they worked the whole summer, and they put on that building all the color of the rainbow, or maybe all the color of the Lego, because they are not so soft.
A lot of primary colors.
Exactly, right? Exactly. At that time, I was studying at university, and my father imposed, it was probably the only time he imposed me something to follow the two artists, because I could speak English and I could help them with translation, buying and finding things. And through the eyes of the two artists, I discovered that probably that could be my job. I discovered that what my family has always done in this region was so interesting that it was my life. It could become my life. And that was project number one. The year after, well, in the meanwhile, I attended some courses to become a sommelier. I started following the harvest. I did it before, but it was a game. We have always lived involved in the winery, but it was not really something planned by our parents. So in the 2000 we started the works of renovation of the winery we have in Barolo, Bricco Rocche, in Barolo, in the Barolo area, in Castiglione Falletto, Bricco Rocche, and so I become a little architect. I followed the job there. We were finishing with this strange construction that is a cube. And so that was the second project. Then we start to think about opening restaurants. And so a new job for me, following the renovation of this place where we are.
So first art. Then
architecture,
then restaurants.
Then restaurants.
And wine's behind it all.
Well, wine in reality is my daily job because, well, I don't know, it's a mix of things because my family has always loved to involve the area where we come in all the projects. When we speak about wine, we always speak about Langhe, the food that comes from here, and the beauties that you can find in this region. So, in reality, it's a cooperation of many factors. And so we started the work around this building with the idea of having an easy restaurant, very rooted in the Langhe tradition. So insalata russa, vitello tonnato, agnolotti, bunè, the most tradition. During the winter, yes. Bollito, fritto misto, all the most traditional recipe from Piemonte. And we start a long hunt for a chef, and we wanted to find someone young and not so known. And Carlo Cracco, that is a very famous Italian chef, suggested us Enrico Crippa. We met Enrico in the 2003 in the middle of nowhere. He was working in an hotel in Lombardia, and we felt in love with his food, and we decided to involve him in the project. And so he started working with us, realizing Piazza Duomo. Piazza Duomo is a project shared by the family Ceretto and Enrico Crippa.
Whereas instead Piola, so for people to understand the difference. La piola, which does that mean trattoria
In our dialect, yes.
So it's this very casual, lovely, traditional menu. Correct?
Yeah.
But Piazza Duomo was a completely, almost very artistic concept
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah, well, we wanted to have two projects that could represent this area. Alba is the capital of a district called Langhe that has very deep culinary traditions. Because in the Langhe you can find some of the most unbelievable ingredients, starting from the white truffle from Alba. But then there are the meat, there are the cheeses, the hazelnuts, the pasta, and so on, who come in Alba, and especially if you produce Barolo and Barbaresco, you need food that could combine perfectly with your wines, and the local food is the perfect combination with our wines. But in the same time, Alba is a very international town, and the producer of Barolo and Barbaresco are probably the people that travel most around the world to spread their wines on all the tables of our planet, and those wines are appreciated everywhere. So it is a combination of tradition and international, and Piazza Duomo, in our idea, had to be an iconic place where people from all around the world could come here and enjoy the ingredients of this region, but under a different, cooked in a different way, with creativity, completely forget about the tradition of our recipe, but the ingredients transformed with the creativity of Enrico Crippa. Enrico then developed his own personal food or cuisine, and in the 2009 he decided that his favorite ingredients were the vegetables. It is not a vegetarian restaurant at all. How Enrico cooks meat is unbelievable. But he strongly believed that the vegetable could be the really protagonist of the dish, and that's why in the last now is 11 years, the tiny little garden he had is now 3 hectares.
It's huge.
It's quite a big work. There are 6 people that follow it.
And you were saying it's there are surprises as well as Italian seasonal produce. There's some surprises that
there are vegetables that come from everywhere. They are not local at all.
What was that little cucumber you told me?
It's a cucamelon. It's his last one. But every year he has a new vegetable that he likes to cook. Last year was the Caesaro, that is a tiny white carrot. The year before there was at the very beginning he loved the pak choi cabbage that in Italy is not so spread.
I once had a thing he made with the truffle and the topinamore, the Jerusalem artichoke.
Yeah.
Which was unforgettable.
Yeah. Well, he liked to cook local ingredients, but giving them a new interpretation.
Well, let's talk about the interpretation of the restaurant, because one of the things is that it wasn't that you stopped at the chapel and you stopped at the cube.
Yeah.
You were telling me your father had this great friend who then introduced him to introduce you guys to a wonderful artist.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time because I specifically came here to see the ceiling of Piazza Duomo.
Yeah.
I don't even need to eat. I just need to see the ceiling. And I was so excited because, and I would love for you to tell everybody what the story of that and tell them who the artist is.
Oh, well, the artist in Piazza Duomo that dominate the room is Francesco Clemente. That has always been the artist we thought when we opened the restaurant in 2005, but for 2 years he couldn't come. So for 2 years there was this bizarre situation where people sit under a pink ceiling.
It's
quite unusual.
It's a particular pink too. It's not.
It's very strange.
Not pink like you guys are thinking.
No, it's I don't know. In Italy, when babies are born, there are pink for the girls and blue for the boys. This is the pink for the babies, the baby girls. It's really pink. However, Francesco couldn't come because he had an exhibition at the Guggenheim in New York that probably in his priority was a little bit higher than coming to Alba in the middle of nowhere. But when he came, I was really in love with the family because till now, whenever we go to New York, we try to meet him. His family often come. That is what happened with all the artists we have involved in our projects.
Because what's happened is the passion for art transformed from simply a beautiful chapel. There's a little process that was like spontaneous flowering, like a vine spreading, because it was the chapel, the cube, and then all of a sudden this incredible ceiling by Francesco Clemente.
Yeah, then there is another architectural thing that we call the grape that was added to the winery in Alba. There are some other works made by Kiki Smith, always in La Piola, the dishes in the Piola. So sometimes we like to add art where we work. Personally it's my passion, and probably I'm the one that is most involved in the family in this activity, but I believe I'm very lucky because the other 5 let me do that. But I'm also of the idea that it's very helpful to tell the story of this area under a different point of view. Because you come in the Langhe mainly to visit wineries, tasting wines, enjoy the great food. In the last years also to enjoy walks, doing trekking, visit the small villages. But art can be something that become a goal. Something a little secret to discover. For many years we have organized with this idea exhibitions, and some were very popular because, one year we had Marina Abramovic, we had Amson Kiefer, we had Francesco Clemente, Kiki Smith. One year we decided to do something more musical, and so we had Patti Smith, but what was beautiful was that we always try to involve the town and share our project with the people that live in Alba. Because, we love to bring culture. I personally strongly believe that culture is what connects my passion with wine, especially if you produce Barolo and Barbaresco. They are not daily wines. They are wines that needs to be explained, need to have someone that to tell you what is behind the bottle. They need to be understood. And that is the same thing that happened with contemporary art. So I like to mix those two words.
But I would say what I like about the projects that I've seen here, like I really particularly love going to the Cappella, the Solowit Chapel, as sometimes people call it, the Cappella di Barolo. Is that in essence yes, the story behind it is beautiful, but it's by the time you get there, you don't need to know the story. It's because it's become a pilgrimage. It's become this.
Yeah.
It's so, for me at least, it's so uplifting to have that experience. You just arrive because we're in an area that, from April to October, it's really, really green, and there are rolling hills, and then you arrive and there's this colorful chapel right there that almost makes no sense, but makes all the sense in the world. And in the wintertime, I can only imagine how cool it must be when it snows. And you just see it.
Unlikely it snows not so much in the last years, but yes, it's wonderful. When it's white around, it's really wonderful. Yeah, but that's why, for example, in the last 2 years, we have thought that our future is to create other artistic objects or works like the chapel. In different areas involving important artists to give their point of view on that spaces. And so in 1-2 years we will have a new work, not in the Langhe but in the district nearby, that is the Roero, where we bought a hill. It's fun to say we bought a hill. Yeah, that's what happened in the Langhe. So we bought this space, and everybody think that we bought it to plant arnaise. In reality, it is too steepy. There is a big wood, so we will clean it. We will create a beautiful area, and on the top there is a tower that is 18 meters tall. It is now we put it in safety, but it was bombed during the Second World War. Probably the only building bombed at that time.
Well, it was 18 meters high.
Yeah,
That's a target, right?
yeah, but you have a great hole where the bullet come in and went out. And so in 2 years maximum it will be completely renewed with another big name of the contemporary art. And we are sure it will become a success as it is the chapel, because especially this year, where I obliged the mayor of La Morra to close the street.
Because it was getting so much traffic, you were saying.
Yeah, it was like in Milan or Rome between 6 and 7 in the main roads. It was impossible to move there. And we are in the middle of nowhere, where the street is not paved, it's ground, it's earth. So the experience of the chapel showed me that it is much more successful now when people, as you were saying, walk and like a pilgrimage reach the chapel than before. And the tower, it will be impossible to go there with a car. So unless you fly, you have to walk. Again, it's not a very long distance, it's 1 kilometer. However, it's a hill.
And you're rewarded in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I love seeing the overlap between wine and contemporary art, food and contemporary art, and one of the things I think is particularly charming about La Piola, I love the cuisine at La Piola because it's my kind. I love that traditional cuisine. I love the simplicity of it, but I also love the plates. And what you've done, which I think it's kind of cool because maybe unless if you look at them, they're pretty, they're colorful, and none of them are the same. But then maybe you talk to the waiters, and you find out, wait a minute, I have a plate designed by Jasper Johns. There's a plate designed by Kiki Smith. It's I don't know how many artists. There was John Baldessari, Anselm Kiefer. I think.
Now they are 12.
12 artists.
Yeah.
And each artist did 4 versions of the plate.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well, when we started the project of La Piola, we wanted to have a very simple trattoria, a place easy. With the supervision of Enrico Crippa, that for 2 years come in the Langhe and followed and had experiences in all the most traditional restaurant of the Langhe. However, we wanted to have a trattoria, and in the past, and probably it still exists, there was this habit in some trattoria to have piatti del buon ricordo, that were the very simple dishes with drawing made by the chef. Or the owner of the restaurant with the recipe, the most famous recipe of the restaurant.
Da Francesco. Like
exactly, and then the name of the recipe. So we didn't want to draw our plates, and having this passion for art, we had the idea to involve contemporary artists. And so every 2-3 years we add new dishes, new plates. In reality now we have to stop because we don't know where to put them.
You can start hanging them like they used to.
Exactly. But however, they are the first 9 artists. They made 9 plates and 4 plates each. The last 3 they made 3 plates. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because I have my thoughts, but why do you think there is such a strong relationship between wine and contemporary art now? I've noticed in Italy, for example, there's Casteldama.
Yeah, it's passion. I think that is passion, or as I was saying before, is you speak the same language. You always talk about something that touch your heart and your soul, not only your eyes or your taste, but yes, I believe it is passion, and it's because in reality, who enjoys food, wine, and art has this habit to collect, to enjoy in its personal life something for itself. And the winemaker in reality, the wine producer in reality, are very open to share moments where they enjoy their work and their passion with other people, and so they feel well, I'm getting confused. It's very difficult to explain in English what I would like to say. In Italian would be much. Provo di nuovo a farlo in inglese.
Okay.
So, wine and art. Who loves wine and who loves art? It's someone that has strong passions. They both talk directly to your heart and before talking to your eyes or your taste. So it's a common language, and also often they are the same people. Who collects great wines is also very often a collector of art. It's just a question of sharing something beautiful, something that enrich you, give you positive sensation, positive feelings, something that is beautiful and something that is good.
And I think it also kind of, at least for me, it's a visceral. I don't collect wine. I don't collect food. I eat a lot of food, and I love drinking good wine. And I'm so thirsty for art. So for me, I see what you're saying. And from my perspective, it's like I'm trying to get as much as I can. One of the things you told me that I thought was very cool was that when you have this, during the period that you were having the shows, so I think it was from 2012 till 2018 at least.
2020, the last one was the celebration of the 20th year of the chapel.
Of the chapel. And you were telling me so that they've had shows with Ansel and Kiefer, Ellsworth Kelly, Kiki Smith, Marina Abramovich, and Enrico, the chef, Enrico Cripa, created dishes inspired by their work.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's like eating an artwork.
Yeah, but it was so fun because for one whole summer, usually the exhibition were in October. And so during the whole summer, Enrico became my greatest nightmare because he kept asking me information about the artist. And anytime I was his nightmare because all the artists involved, except for Francesco Clemente, that is very colorful, use a lot the color black. That it is not one of the most favorite from the chefs. And so it was really for him a great challenge to transform the art of Kiefer, Marina Abramovich, that it's a performer.
She's conceptual.
Exactly.
It's a conceptual dish.
No, Patti Smith, but he's a singer. He always tried and always he realized something magic. And some of the recipe become recipe of his menu because well, he in a way he's an artist.
Of course.
And as he has this very deep sensibility, visual sensibility, for him it was very important also to get inspiration from them.
I think it's pretty cool. I love the idea of him having to, this challenge of having to conceptualize and then actualize a dish based on a conceptual artist or a performative artist, performance artist. And then his piece essentially becomes the artwork. And then if you think about it, what's the performance?
Exactly.
Us eating the piece,
No, but it was very beautiful in two moments. With Marina Abramovich, at the end of the dinner, she stands and she starts saying a poem to Enrico. It was a kind of performance just for the people in the dining room. And also Patti Smith, she sang two songs with Enrico. It was very beautiful.
It's like a performance that keeps going.
Exactly.
Now I want to ask you some very, very basic questions.
Okay.
Any artist, dead or alive, if you could have any artist in the world come and do a project, who would it be?
Well, I like to meet people, so it would be a contemporary artist.
Okay.
An artist that I loved and I met is Miguel Barceló, and I would like to have him here to do something. I love his art, I love him as a person. I believe that most of the choices that we made are due to the feeling that we have with the artist. We are first a collector of experiences and moments, then collector of art pieces. So between us and the artist, it should be love. And that is what happened with all the artists we involved. So it could be one. And yes, I hope we will have the chance to do with him something soon.
Now I'm curious. I'd love to know if you have any favorite museums.
Well, I like to discover new museums.
Okay.
So I'm also very curious, probably because I'm married with an architect, to see new buildings. There are museums where I go often because I know that there I can find something an exhibition always very interesting, like the Tate, like the MoMA. But when a new museum open, I try to go and see how it is made, because I like also to study how they organize the spaces and how they expose the pieces. I loved, for example, the museum that Renzo Piano did in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was very beautiful. I loved also the space around. It was great. I like also what he did in Basel and in Basilea. But no, usually I like to see the new museum. That not necessarily are contemporary art museum. For example, I loved the Jewish museum made by Daniel Libeskind. It is not only because in Berlin, it is not only because Giuseppe worked a lot with him, but it is very touching. I mean, without knowing too much, you really feel so touched by the space that it's unbelievable. So there are museums extraordinary all around the world.
Do you have any favorites in Italy?
In Italy, I love to go because it's very unusual to go to the Museo in Rivoli, the contemporary museum in Rivoli.
I haven't been there yet.
No, you must go there because you have this unbelievable castle,
It's
Baroque.
It's in the.
It's a huge castle. The smallest room, it's probably 10 meters tall and I don't know, 20 meters large. It's huge. It's a Baroque building. It's a castle.
How far away is it from here?
1 hour.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not far. It's very close to the airport in Torino. And you have one of the most unbelievable contemporary art collection that you can find. You have a huge room full of solutes. And in fact, one of the reasons why Sol accepted to come and do the job at the chapel was because he knew Torino. So it has a very huge collection, and the place is really beautiful, and it opens on the town of Torino. So when the sky is clean, you can see the town of Torino. Behind you have one of the most unbelievable building that is in Piemonte. That is La Sagra di San Michele. There is a church on the top of a hill, a mountain, that inspired Umberto Eco in The Name of the Rose.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And yes, in Italy, that is my favorite museum.
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad you told me that because I haven't been there yet, and I've always kind of had it in the back of my head when I come here, and then for some reason, it doesn't come out of the back of my head, and now the next time I come visit, I'm going to go there, as well as take a walk, because one of the things we were talking about before we end the podcast is, I think one of the best experiences here is that this is a land, this is just a region that should be explored on foot, or it should be explored outside.
Yeah.
You know, this is a farming community. It's agriculture is a big focus here, and being outside is so beautiful. And I know you were saying that at Ceretto you have this new trekking percorso.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we call it the wine trekking because it opens around one of our property, that is the main estate we have in Alba. And it's a 3-kilometer trekking, so sometimes serious trekker tell
It's serious for me. It's serious for me.
But for us it's more because it explains our approach with agriculture. Since with the new generation, and I mean with me, my brother, my 2 cousins, we decided that our future was green or greener than our fathers. We trying to explain what we do in our vineyards, in our hazelnuts, in the garden that provides the vegetable to Piazza Duomo, and it describes a little bit the region. It describes what is the biodynamic or organic agriculture. It describes you our job, and it's very easy. It's not something that only professional can do, and it shows in 1 hour what we do and how we do it.
I think I'll be doing that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really interesting.
I think it's the perfect. I think that's the kind of like the perfect way to get out of the city. I'm really happy that you took the time to speak to me. It really means a lot.
It was a pleasure.
And I'm so happy to talk with you about art because it's for me it's a lot of fun to talk with people that make big projects happen. It really when you make a and they don't even have to be big projects. But when you bring contemporary art in, I don't know. It's my favorite thing on earth. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love it when art, wine, and food come together, and I think you will too. You can learn more about Ceretto and their wines, wine experiences, trekking, and incredible art initiatives at www.ceretto.com. That's CERETTO.com. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. If you'd like to know more about today's guest, please visit ciaobella.co and click on the podcast link, or go directly to ciaobella.co/podcast. Want more Italy? You can find all my episodes on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher. When you have time, subscribe to iTunes and rate the podcast. What are you waiting for? And if you want to be part of the podcast, email me or DM me your Italy questions. To learn more about me and my work, go to my website, ericafirpo.com, and follow my Italy adventures on Instagram at ericafirpo. Ciao, Bella! And a very big thank you and hug to Massimiliano Yonta and Disc to Disc Studios, the producers of Ciao Bella, who continue to make me sound and feel great.